Hello everyone, this is Dr. Sushma Tiwari, Department of English, Government Arts and Commerce Girls College, Raipur. This is the fourth part of the lecture on the novel The Edible Woman by Margaret Atwood, where I will continue with the theme and motive of the novel. The Edible Woman shows how female passivity and submission in the traditional wife and mother roles can pose a serious threat to the very survival of the self. Perhaps Marian experience with Clara as wife and mother, but she never resembles Clara under similar circumstances. She looks upon her as an image of a stable commodity, as Peter wants to get a couple of shots of Marian alone. She feels that she should never have worn red because it has made her a perfect target of Peter's designs. She perceives Peter as a victimizer who directs technological assault on women by means of a camera. His aggressive nature is highlighted when he cuts meat so skillfully with no tearing, no ridged ends, and yet it was a violent action. His fairy manipulation and ingestion of food is a revealing metaphor of his implacable consumption of Marian's identity. He would focus his eyes on her face, concentrating on her as though if he looked hard enough, he would be able to see through flesh and her skull and into working of her brain. She couldn't tell what he was searching for when he looked at her like that. It made Marian uneasy. The sexual politics is at work within the relationship between the protagonist and her lover, Peter. It clearly signifies how historically there have been various distributions of illness and different ways in which one specializes disease. Marian's effort to comply with patriarchal norms is an effect of the male-oriented culture values on her identity, because a woman attempts to abide by patriarchal regulations which led them to bodily disintegration and disease. Many of Marian's bodily gestures and movements show her body as a focus of social control, and secondly as a text of culture on which patriarchal ideological constructions of femininity have been deeply inscribed. These practices of femininity may lead women to utter demoralization, weakness, and death. Marian sees in Peter a homicidal maniac with a lethal weapon in his hands. Her dream about her future married life crashes on the hard rock of bitter realities. She avoids the mirror and Peter's camera because Peter's photography is a kind of death or the final trap for her. The plot reaches its climax when Peter arranges the cocktail party on the occasion of their engagement. The engagement provides Marian an occasion to have all her male and female friends together, who she figures out as her alternatives. This shows how the artificiality in the consumer society manifests itself in Marian, who is found in an elaborate hairstyle, a daring new red dress, heavy makeup, and gold earrings. She does all this as directed by Peter. She looks at her own image as reflected in the mirror, which seems to mock in return at her. The cocktail party provides Marian with the perception that Peter has an ability to devour her in a civilized way, and he has a strong will to negate her individuality and autonomy, thereby expecting her to assume the roles of a traditional wife and mother. Marian takes a flight to Duncan as she hopes to find some kind of safety and shelter at the place of Peter. Instead, she becomes a helpless victim of Duncan's lust. A friend, an English graduate student, Duncan is both playful and animal-like, who accompanies Marian on her downward journey to the dark side of self, a complex character in his own right who is instrumental in furthering Marian's development. Through this dissatisfaction with consumer society in general and academy in particular, Duncan, a reluctant consumer and conflicted graduate, bridges these spheres. He is the perfect character to challenge society's value as he is resistant to social expectations. He would like to be an amoeba, an amorphous creature lacking boundaries because they are immortal and sort of sharpless and flexible. Being a person is getting too complicated. Other characters in the novel believes that identity in the artificial society is achieved by adopting artificial roles. He emerges as an ambiguous character that is simultaneously old and young, death-like, vital, experienced and virginal, shrewd and naive. His combination of youth and deathly sickness turns him to be a sort of aged child. He is portrayed as a beast enjoying and discarding its prey. He appears mysteriously in illogical place where Marian least expects him. They both exploit each other. In spite of that, Duncan fascinates her throughout the novel. Finally, Duncan takes her to a hotel patronized by prostitutes and their clients later accuse her of corrupting him. He sees the red dress as a sign of seduction and Marian as the Scarlet Woman herself. Marian may not be the first woman to become the victim of Duncan's lust, and deceit is the very breath of his life. And with his meticulous planning, he has exploited many women. When Marian leaves the place of Duncan, he asks her, "Where do you want to go?" This query echoes the plight of a woman who are abused, exploited, oppressed, divorced and abandoned. Atwood has presented a comedy of resistance to social myths of femininity through the discriminating eyes of Marian. She wants to become a woman who codes for a meaningful human identity, who quest for a meaningful human identity. Refusal of food as well as eating of food has a symbolic meaning by combining the feminine and the anorexia aspects of the story and through unconsciousness of a young woman. Her protest against the conventional female role is understood. According to the Freudian theory of catharsis, when the neurosis is recognized, it should not only lose its power but also make way for the long shifted element of the authentic self to grow. This pattern of increasing conscious neurosis and implication of the neurotic action followed by tentative new growth is the true pattern of Atwood's novel. Marian finds herself reduced to the state of a destitute girl. She is extremely melancholic and feels dejected about her future. Gradually, she realizes the futility of starving herself to death. Marian begins to see both Peter and Duncan in their true colors and recognizes her complexity in her victimization. Atwood examines the situation of women as well as patriarchal structure of power and domination. The protagonist realizes how she has allowed Peter and Duncan to exploit and eat her. Thus, Marian is made a victim of symbolic cannibalism. She is aware of the necessity to wage a war against those who exploit women for their advancement and property by way of nude and semi-nude advertisement. Hence, she takes exception to the obscene posters of women to boost up the sales of different products. Marian struggles against the technologically oriented man with cameras, guns and plant carriers who direct technological assault on women. The scene of new personal beginning marks when she decides to bake a woman-shaped cake for Peter, symbolically an egg inside her shell. In the beginning, her hunger seems to be hampered. She skips an egg and washes down a glass of milk and a bowl of cold cereal, which is a proper example of self-symbolizes her having attained the necessity of self-knowledge. Marian's baking of cake and eating could be said to be a gesture of defense, a way of saying no to a system that defines women as commodity and devotes them. It is essential to note that cake has different meaning for all the characters that come into contact with it. For example, it begins as a test and ends as only cake for Marian, whereas it is a symbol of Marian's madness, of her unsuitability as the wife of a rising young lawyer, Peter. It is an indication that Marian is rejecting femininity. To test and expose the true colors of Peter and Duncan, Marian bakes a cake in her own image. Peter is embraced by the cake and is nonplussed at this unanticipated behavior of Marian. He realized that he can no longer play the game of deceit with her and hence prepares himself to leave the place. Atwood subtly urges women to empower themselves. She urges them to eat their way into the world. Likewise, Marian begins to eat the cake, ending her withdrawal from food as soon as Peter leaves the place. The cake acts as a kind of magnet, attracting all the images, associations, and interpretations that come within its field. The title image performs an important function within the structure of the comedy by providing a central imagistic form that can affect a resolution. Apart from all this, the act signifies the celebration of Marian's new freedom and rebirth. The process of cake making is joyful as she recognizes her own complicity in her former victimization. She has definitely changed from the meek, docile, traditional woman to the bold, conscious, and rebellious feminist. Representative of modern youth, rebelling against the system of gender and its operation, and makes us understand how even an economically independent woman takes a long time to be conscious of her marginalization. From the time The Edible Woman was published, we find many oppressed voices struggling to be heard. Women are still heavily pursuing equality and questioning their roles in society which have been otherwise accepted for so long. This novel is an obvious manifestation of the inner turmoil felt by many women. Even today, it contributes in its way. We find characters like Marian who are forced to be suitable partner, get married, quit her job and become a mother and homemaker like pitiful Clara. The story of Marian's self-discovery is the frightening vision of struggle for sanity. The proof of her sanity is that Marian has learned to live meaningfully. Atwood has presented a comedy of resistance to social myths by femininity through the discriminating eyes of Marian, the champion of feminism. Atwood depicts male hegemony by her profound observation and by delineation of human characters. Especially, she achieves her desire to diffuse her intention as a writer to the suffering mass, to the public, and thoughtful people in totality. The Edible Woman focuses on the problem at the work spot, gender inequality, pitfalls of patriarchal system, and the uncongenial environment needed to be rectified. The main theme of the novel is inadequately focused upon and partially explored. The Edible Woman is an indictment of the male authority, hierarchy, and competition double standards of morality and discrimination. The governing elements which continue to victimize women. This novel helps us to realize how a woman is sought to be used, abused, and manipulated by the theory of unreality, pseudoculture, biology, and commercialization. The novel reveals that victimization of women is a reality of our system, and the only way to resist it is through a result against it. So, The Edible Woman is a subversive rather than a confrontational novel which attacks on social script of gender ideology. Thus, The Edible Woman not only proposes hypotheses for solution to women's exploitation and operation in gender system, but also serves as a guide to feminist struggle. In short, The Edible Woman is an imaginative transformation of a social obstacle or problem into comic satire as one young woman rebels against the feminine destiny. Thank you.